Redditors who lost their job because of a post to a social media platform. What happened? I had to fire someone for one. He was a volunteer firefighter and left for a call which I allowed. 15 minutes later someone showed me his 5-minute-old post of him riding quad saying something along the lines of sometimes you just need to F off from work. That put him on a final warning. He then left because he said his house was on fire. Then half an hour later his wife tagged him in a photo of him sitting in a kiddie pool in front of his house. The funny thing is, in both cases, if he had simply asked to leave early I probably would have said yes. Edit. To clarify, this was over different days a few weeks apart, and he worked for me, but also volunteered as a firefighter. The fire chief also found out about this, and dismissed him from that position as well. This guy had a few issues needless to say, and honesty was not something with which he was familiar. I work in a hospital and there was a police shooting in my area a couple of years ago, and multiple officers were brought into our One officer was doer and a number of idiot hospital employees posted condolences on their Facebook pages with the name of the officer before the family was officially informed. If memory serves 7 or 8 employees were rightfully fired for that one. I once didn't get a job since I don't have Facebook/ECT. Apparently they wanted to see the kind of person I was, and I told them I like my privacy. I've walked out of an interview because they wanted my Facebook login. A former colleague of mine posted about how he was going to use up all his sick leave then quit. He posted it at 9 AM. He was told he had no more job at 11. I had to fire an employee for a tweet he wrote about a customer. He tweeted customer's full name would be a great name for a gay porn star. I found out about it when the customer's lawyer called me the next day threatening action. Turns out the guy worked for the local newspaper and obsessively searched his name on all social media. What else do you expect with a name like Asuckman? I've had one employer refuse to hire me because I didn't have a Facebook at the time. Wasn't a hours or social job, it was a fast food joint. That's just a bad that manager with control freak tendencies. They can't stalk you on social media. Guess you aren't trustworthy. Not me, but the company I work for. A prospective employee just passed his interview and was told that all he needs to do is pass a drug test and a physical, and he would start on Monday. The company Facebook guy found the new hire on Facebook and the guy had just posted 20 minutes after the interview. Shit. Anyone know how to pass a drug test in 24 hours? Edit. The guy's job is not Facebook guy. He is a social media marketing and customer service guy. Promotes the business, talks with people and posts to social media websites. I was younger and an idiot. I posted something on Facebook about wanting to go home and play The Sims, so I could create telecommunications store I worked for on it and then slowly kill off all the customers. I was working a late night shift in a mall and forgot on Walker had added me on Facebook days before. Joined a games studio alongside a guy who'd just finished his philosophy degree. He felt that the game's official forums were the best place to discuss whether disabled people would be of as much value as pigs after a post-apocalyptic event, and if they should be simply slaughtered and eaten. All using his company account, of course. I used to work for Geek Squad in college and a coworker was fired when a famous actor came in and she posted on Facebook a lot of his private info. Like full name came into our store and bought this and this and has a black Amex card and stuff he had on his computer. Not once but on 2 separate occasions. That's a special kind of stupid. She could have got herself and the company into a lot of trouble. Not me, but a girl on my Facebook worked for the postal service in my town. She posted on Facebook how she wanted to slit her boss's throat and went into some gory details. Then, about 5 hours later, she posted another status about how the feds showed up at her house and that one of her coworkers had showed her boss the status and she was now fired. She's obviously really dumb and trashy. I posted my Facebook status about how big of dickhead my boss is and tagged him. He fired you for that? What a dickhead. I had the courtesy to tag him. I would have been like, damn, this kid tagged me, I respect that. A company I worked for had it written into their 7-page contracts that you were not allowed to even reference said company on social media. Anyone in breach would be fired instantly. There's a page on Facebook called We Hate that's currently one of the world's biggest corporate hate pages. It all started when someone working in our call center posted online about how much the customers suck. Then began something of a war between the staff and customers. Customers posting on employees' walls and vice versa. The company was / is a major player in its market, essentially had a monopoly, and there was a noticeable drop in sales that year. All in all, around 20 people were fired. Worked at GameStop until 2010. The store was in a mall and parents would always leave their kids in the store and go do their shopping. Sometimes the children would cry, sometimes they'd pee themselves. Even had one #2. Parents would get mad at us for not bringing them to the bathroom, what the SHT, or start screaming at their kids for not just playing games for a few hours without causing any problems. I tweeted about how the store wasn't there to babysit children and never really thought about that tweet again. Until few months later, same thing. Parent drops kid off in store, leaves. 20 minutes later, an older looking guy is outside the store, on his flip phone, aiming it at the store. He's creeping me out, but I continue offering pointless warranties to customers while waiting for my next break, and then I noticed him walk near the entrance of the store and ask that kid where his parents are. This seemed really fishy and the guy looked beyond suspicious. I was thinking he could be a pedophile, and I was right. He gets the kid to go with him. I call up mall security so they could check it out, and they caught him before he left the mall. He was arrested. The kid was crying, asking for his mom, who mall security could not reach because, as it turns out, she went to some stores outside of the mall area and she didn't actually come back for another 2 hours, at which point she threatened to sue me, GameStop, the mall, etc. Security guard lady told her that child services were called. They all walked away. That was the last time I saw them. Few days later, district manager DM shows up in store and I was fired on the spot because that lady made a complaint. DM found my Twitter and informed me that my approach to yesterday's dilemma and my tweet about how GameStop isn't a babysitting service has made them believe that I don't have the GameStop spirit. Both the manager and district manager told me I could use them as a reference on my resume, which was great until they both lost their jobs a few weeks later. That's messed up. You saved the kid from a terrible fate. His mom should be thanking you. Maybe she was just tired of being a mom, and she was hoping that if she left her kid unattended some creep would take him off her hands, and foiled her plan. Didn't lose my job, but I watched a friend lose his over a tweet. He tweeted, "So getting head while delivering pizzas is pretty sweet," one night while he was working. The next morning he tweeted, "Yo duck you Papa John's, I don't need you, or your stupid job anyway," or something to that effect. I've never laughed so hard in my life. Guy at my company got sacked for putting a Facebook status along the lines of "FNG immigrants. I hate them," not realizing both his bosses, also owners of the company, were second generation immigrants from India. They started the company from scratch and now employ 30 people. They pay for full gym membership, healthcare, and generous pension for all the staff, which he had to say goodbye to when he was fired. How's that for your effing immigrants? I saw a friend post an anti-immigrant meme on FB recently. Her parents and her in-laws are immigrants. I suspect her issue is with immigrants of color, not European immigrants. Are the old "we are not immigrants, we just moved here from another country" cognitive dissonance. Always fun to witness in the wild. I was once passed over for a job because I barely use Facebook. They straight up told me that they couldn't trust me because of how little info was on my page. For future reference, I'm sorry employers, that 90% of my Facebook page is related to StarCraft and/or miscellaneous gaming. I'm sorry that I don't get drunk and post embarrassing photos of things you could fire me over. My personal life is my business and not Facebook's. You must construct additional profiles. We require more discreditable posts. Not me, but a co-worker of mine was fired recently because he got caught sneaking off work to smoke weed and drink by Facebook. This moron would post photos of him smoking and drinking on Facebook. The boss found out and predictably fired him on the spot. The best part, this guy was almost 30 years old, and not just some dumb teenager. Dumb teenager is a state of mind. He was definitely a dumb teenager. I posted a blog post on MySpace in 2005 that got me discharged from the army. I indicated I had romantic feelings for a female, and that I had acted on those feelings. I'm also female. My sergeant suspected I was involved with this woman, so she looked me up on MySpace, saw the blog post, and 3 months later, I was discharged for homosexual conduct. Not American here, but wouldn't that fall into the don't ask category of the don't ask, don't tell policy that I think your military was under back then? DADT really meant don't show any indication anywhere that you're gay. If anyone found out through any means and could prove it, then you were out. It was completely ducked up. My female friend 18 was DM'd through Twitter by the news presenter 37 of our city. He was talking about her beach pictures and how she is really pretty and how they need to get together. She ended up telling him that it's pretty ridiculous that he's trying to get with her. He lost his job later that week. The only real reason he lost his job was because he used the Weather Channel's Twitter account. I got fired from an internship for posting on Reddit before. It was a very small environmental engineering consulting firm. We were doing work on a site that had lead and arsenic contamination on it. The site was very dusty, and if it didn't rain for a few days, the dust would often kick up and blow onto the street next to the site, which happened to be the main road in this semi-smallish town. Someone mentioned on Reddit, in a totally unrelated way, that they were from this town. I made a mention of the contamination and told the dude that if he ever saw dust coming off the site, that he should contact the engineers, which were housed above one of the local bars. Apparently this guy didn't really want the site to be redeveloped at all because of the already high congestion in the surrounding roads, and he called and complained and mentioned my post on Reddit. The company was so small it was obvious it was me who posted it, and I fessed up about what I had said and immediately deleted the post. Even though I didn't do anything illegal or even remotely immoral, I was fired because I was seen as a liability. People deserve to know if the dust they're breathing in could give them cancer. I moved on to a different field, marine biology, and haven't even remotely looked back. Not me, but in my town was a very public case where the girls' basketball coach lost her job because she posted a picture of her husband touching her breast on Facebook. Lots of people got mad and she got her job back. Now her and her husband, who is a coach at a different school, are leaving to coach at a charter school in a different town. Teachers aren't supposed to be real people. America has a weird culture around what they think of teachers. It's like they believe they're some sort of physically tangible ghost that haunts a school, manifesting only when students are around, and ceases to be once students leave, only manifesting again when it's time for more education. I understand it from kids. They only really see teachers at school. But even some adults seem to believe that teachers existing outside a school as an actual human being is a weird concept. I was working as a bartender and server for a place. The assistant manager was a petty tyrant and treated the staff like shit. I had made several complaints about him to the general manager and the owner with some of the other staff, but they refused to do anything about it. So I was done with this place and was currently looking for a new job when one day I was berending and a very young looking girl came. She hands me her out of state ID and I can tell that it is fake. I politely tell her that I can't serve her alcohol and explain that in this state we don't legally have to accept out of state IDs, blah blah blah. She was actually very understanding and there was no scene or issue. Her the friends arrive and they move to a table and I informed their server about the fake ID. It is around this time that the assistant manager, who had been drinking Bloody Marys at the bar next door all morning and then napping in the office, came over. He then starts telling me that I don't know what a fake ID looks like and I don't have the right to refuse service and how stupid I am. He then tells me I have to serve the girl. I inform him that I have the legal right to refuse service and he cannot force me to. Anyway, I go home and post on the Facebook about my day and then include a photo of when I was managing a liquor store holding a device of medieval defense made out of all the fake IDs we had confiscated in 1 year. Also a crown. The next day I was called in and let go for refusing to cooperate with management and what have you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel for more curated daily Reddit stories.